in continuation of our earlier sessions, now we will talking about this particular function of the HR manager and its application, that is about the compensation. So, here we will talking about the what is the compensation, variable performance linked pay, finding of a survey on variable pay versus the fixed pay, then the total rewards for employees, compensations philosophies, then the objectives of compensation philosophies, compensation administration process, levels and plans, and the components of the pay structures, and then the case study, then wage policy in India, and wages and salary administration, state regulation of wages, choices in designing a compensation system, and finally a research paper will be discussed. So, question arises, what is the compensation? So, compensation is what employees receive in exchange for their contribution to the organization. Generally speaking, employees offer their services for three types of the rewards: basic pay, variable pay, and the benefits are there. So, when we talk about the basic pay, it is a basic compensation an employee gets usually on a wage or salary is there, and the variable pay, it is a compensation that is linked directly to performance accomplishment, bonuses, incentives, and the stock option is there. The benefits are, these are the indirect rewards given to an employee or the group of employees as a part of organizational membership: health insurance, vacations pay, retirement, pensions, etc. is there. Now, whenever we are talking about this compensation, so there are two types, that is a financial or the non-financial is there, and it refers to the wide range of the financial and non-financial rewards to employees for their services rendered to the organization. So, financials are the wages, salaries, and employee benefits are there, and this is the paid vacations and the insurance is there. Then it is the maternity leave is there, and then there will be the free travel facilities, retirement benefits, or the HRA is there, house rent allowance, or the non-financials are there. For example, the family picnic is there, dinner and lunch, offering them the front places outside of the organizations, and then the company car, etc. That will be also type of this the compensation that will be offered. So, variable performance linked pay, VPLP, findings of a survey on variable pay versus the fixed pay. So, a survey conducted by NFO, MBL India, and ST Careers shows that pay for performance is the corporate buzzword today. Indian companies are increasingly adopting the concept of variable performance linked pay, and the major findings of the survey that has been discussed as follows. The survey talks about there is a 73% of the Indian organizations have begun to offer the VPLP, that is a variable performance linked pay, and it is generally pegged at the 10 to 30% of the executives fixed pay is there, and it is used to extract the better performance. Now, this is also I would like to add here, that is attracting the talent. In the talent attraction, this becomes a very important. However, when we talk about the variable pay, so variable pay depends on the different situations, and accordingly those situations these rewards will increase, but the total cost CTC, this variable pay is included, as a result of which the talent gets attracted. That is, if the situation will be favorable, then I will be able to perform, and then I may go to catch this salary up to the increase, in addition to the whatever the fixed pay is there, up to the 30%, then in addition he will get that particular salary. So, it is used to extract the better performance. To be successful, a variable performance linked pay plan should be based on transparency and the fair evaluation. So, proper communication is important to VPLP implementation is there, and the total rewards for employees are the, in the case of this the compensation are the base plan, for example, the wages, salary, and bonuses, incentives, and stock option is there. Therefore, earlier the bonuses were limited to the 8.3 to 20% and certain categories of employees. Now, the bonuses can extend to the all the employees as a production bonus, and the benefits are there, that is the health, medical insurance, life disability insurance, paid time off, retirement or the pension plans, educational assistance, and the work life support. While the performance and talent management is the performance reviews, goal setting, talent management, training, HR development, career planning, and the succession planning is there. Another way of classifying the components of compensation are the direct and indirect. So, direct will be the base pay, that is the wages and salary, and the variable pay will be the bonus, incentives and the stock option plans. Indirect will be the benefits, medical or the life insurance, paid time off, retirement pensions, workers compensations and the others are there. So, therefore, whenever we are talking about these compensation, so they are normally the direct payment has been discussed, while the indirect payment that is a payment of compensation, and that will be depend on the category and the different rules and regulations of the organization. Now, the compensation philosophy is about the value proposition, the worthiness of the employee actually. What is a compensation? The worthiness of that particular employee offers to its employees and the general principles that will guide the development of the pay strategies and rewards program are there. So, these are the link basically from that is a job description, job specification, job profile and job concentration. So, accordingly there will be this particular compensation that will be vary from the one category to the another category of employees. So, here the compensation philosophies are the entitlement and the performance, and the seniority based pay across the board rises, then the pay scale raised annually, that is the increment is there, industry comparisons of the compensation only, and then the Santa Claus bonuses are there, which are the additional one. The performance based is no rise for the length of service, no rises for the longer service poor performance, a market adjusted pay structure is there and the broader industry comparison. So, bonuses tied to the performance results are there. Now, basically what are the objectives of compensation philosophy? The objectives of the compensation philosophy are the attract the talent, retain the talent, ensure equity, rewards appropriately and the comply with the legal rules and the ease of operation is there. So, whenever we are talking about the attract the talent, for example, in the IITs, so therefore, even these undergraduate students, the BTech students, they are getting the package of many students are getting the very high package, and these higher packages because of the attract the talent is there. But in this particular package, the component as I mentioned earlier, it is even the 30% component is of the variable pay is there, which is not the fixed pay. So, therefore, but the talent sees, that is the in future there may be the opportunity to catch this 30% also. So, then they continue in the organization and it calls the retention of the employees, that is a retain the talent. And when you are retaining the talent, definitely in that case the performance of the organization, overall organization will be better, and again we have to see those who are performers, those who are not performers. So, ensure the equity. So, therefore, those who are the higher performance, they should get the higher benefits as compared to those who are the moderate or the low performers are there. Reward the appropriately, as I mentioned, that is the formula for compensation that has to be designed very carefully. So, no injustice is done. It should not be like this, that is the performers are getting less comparatively as compared to the non-performers are there. So, therefore, this particular policy of the variable pay and compensation that has to be decided accordingly to the this particular the formula which will be justifying the compensation to the all the employees. Comply with the legal rules and the ease of operations. We know there is a payment of wages is there and minimum wages act is there. So, therefore, in that case we have to ensure that whatever these compensation has been decided is per the as per rules and as per law has been paid to the all the employees. Now, the job analysis is done and this job description and job performance will be done. So, how to decide the compensation? So, first is the analyzing the job. So, valuing the job, there is a job evaluation and the market pricing, and there will be the best service will be there. There is, if these are the jobs, these are the knowledge, skill and attitude is required for this particular job, what will be the salary will be required for this particular job is there. So, pay policies will be decided on basis of the pay structure, pay grades and the pay ranges are there. So, unless and until there is not a proper structure, then definitely there will not be the transparency and the equity in the organization. This individual pay that will be making him to perform in a better way, performance appraisal, and that will be making the implementation, communication and monitoring of these particular individual's pay is there. Now, what can be the different strategies for deciding the compensation? So, above the market, middle market and below the market. So, paying for the higher qualified, more productive workers to catch to catch the talented people, then definitely in that case the compensation which is supposed to be offered, that has to be the above the market. When you are attempting to balance of employers cost and need to contract and retain employees, then in that case it is the middle level is there. And when the paying all that the firm can afford, taking advantages of the abundant supply of the potential employees in a loose labor market, and that will be the about the below market will be called. So, factors affecting the compensation plan are the internal and external. The internal are the organizational strategy and attitude, ability to pay, nature of jobs, and the nature of a personnel. And similarly, the external contingent factors affecting the compensation plan is nature of HR market, cost of living, trade unions, social factors, and the legal frameworks are there. And accordingly to this particular social factor and the legal frameworks, this will be decided. It is the how the external and internal contingent plans that will be decided. So, internal contingent factors will be the organizational strategy and attitude. It determines the organizational attitude and it is the remuneration is there. However, the ability to pay will be depending upon the organization's compensation, whatever the earning is there. So, therefore, the ROIs will be calculated on the basis of which the organization will decide, that is the whether they are going for giving the as per the market rate, or they are going for the giving the lower than the market rate, or then the higher than the market rate for that particular compensation. Nature of jobs are difficult jobs, higher compensation, job evaluation is done. Now, in this case the organization will decide, that is the, for example, a very highly skilled job is there, which is required to make the production and productivity very high level, then in that case there will be the compensation will be there and job evaluation is done. Now, the nature of personnel will be the employees related factors like the performance, seniority, and the special skills are there. So, this will be deciding about the nature of personnel, that is what type of these their performance is there, and then how long they are working into the organization, and does they have any particular special skills. On basis of this, the nature of personnel will be decided. So, here we will talk about organization strategies, then the ability to pay, nature of jobs, and the nature of personnel, that will decide about the contingent factors. The external contingent factors are the nature of HR market. So, demand and supply, productivity and prevailing market rates they are becoming the very important factors whenever any organization that decides about this particular compensation. So, cost of living will be the allowance given to the maintain social status according to the places there, and the trade union bargains with the management, weapons, strikes, gearhouse, etc. And this is creating the legal framework, that is about the guidelines given by the laws about the like for example Wages Act 1936. So, therefore, in that case the external contingent factors that will be creating by the society, that will be creating by the corporation, and accordingly the cost of living and all will be decided, and then accordingly number will be told, that is what will be the contingent factors that will be affecting this particular the compensation process. In the nature of HR market, demand and supply. So, demand for the scale up prices will also productivity constant will be there. So, naturally when the productivity is there, the efficient employees paid, the higher the productivity, higher will be the payment, and as I mentioned that it can be the fixed pay and it can be the variable pay also. So, therefore, in the productivity normally the variable pay is becoming very high. The prevailing market rates of the wages are there. So, compare the wages with other companies to retain and gain the talent is there. So, that will be decided. Now, what are the components of the pay structure that we will discuss? So, it is the bonus is there and the payment made under a profit sharing schemes, the value of the house accommodation, medical allowances, then the travelling allowances, and any other sum paid to the different special expenses incurred by the workers, and the contribution to the pension provident fund that will be there. Now, here we find that is these are the common headings are there where the pay structure has been decided. Organizations can include the number of other components of the pay structure basis on this culture or practices are there. For example, there are different allowances are there, maybe the servant allowance, there may be the gardener allowance, there may be the fuel reimbursements and all. So, all will be decided on the practices given by the organizations. So, Bharat ophthalmic glasses where the employees benefit the excess turnover. During the period of 1984 to 85 to 90, the gross benefit per annum to 521 employees of Bharat ophthalmic glass, that is the BOG, exceeded the turnover of the company every year. The employees have successfully brought down capacity utilization to just 27% of the achievable capacity. When the government released rupees 76 lakhs to buy plant and machinery, BOG generously diverted 50% of the money to pay salaries and wages. National Textile Corporations has 120 mills and 1.7 lakhs workers. The accumulated losses are over 3000 crores, the yearly increase in losses being over rupees 400 crore, and 40 miles are totally useless, 40 likely to become the useless very soon, and the balance 40 are terminally sick. So, during the last 20 years, the government spent nearly rupees 2000 crore on the protecting job is there. So, while in the case of the Hindustan Fertilizers Corporation Limited, Haldia, the plant was shut down in August 1986, but the 1500 strong employees continue to receive all their salaries and wages totaling of rupees 150 to 175 lakhs per month. The company seems to run on the principle no work but full pay. Even the additional installments of the DA are payable to them, and the accumulated losses up to 1992 were over rupees 1400 crore. So, another example is of the HEC, that is the Heavy Engineering Corporation. So, it is a company almost producing nothing. It has been established just to employ labor. Over 17,000 employees with annual losses running to over rupees 100 crore, established in collaboration with Soviet Union and the Czechoslovakia. Both these countries of these courses managed and vanished from the world map by 1992 itself. Whenever we are talking about the wage policy in India, so a wage policy offers certain guidelines for determining a wage structure, and the term wage structure refers to the various pay scales showing ranges of pay within each grade. Three important elements of the wage policy in India are minimum wage, fair wage, and the living wage are there. And whenever we are talking about the minimum wage are the base subsistence of workers enough for health, efficiency, and working capability. It must be invariably paid whether the company big or small makes the profit or not. Now, it in calculating the minimum wages considers the standard working class family, 3 consumption unit for the one earner is there. So, this is the minimum wages were considered on the basis of the these particular considerations, that is the where the how the minimum food requirement will be there on basis of the calories intake. Then the clothing requirement, housing requirement, and the fuel, lighting, and the other miscellaneous requirements were there. The fair wage is about the minimum wage, but below the living wage. So, according to the Committee on Fair Wage 1948, consider the productivity of labor, prevailing rate of wages, level of national income and its distribution, place of industry in the economy, and employers' capacity to pay. Now, in the living wage, it is the highest among the three. It must provide best practices, amenities of life, efficiency of workers, satisfy the social needs of workers such as medical, education, retirement, and etc. It is a dynamic concept which grows in the line with the growth of the national economy is there. Now, these are the minimum living wages are there, though they are not the highest, but it must having the certain the sufficient wages, so that the one family can live, and there can be the with the growth in the line with the national economy is there. So, wages and salary administration in the process of managing a company's compensation, base compensation as well as the supplementary programs. So, supplementary compensation signifies incentive payments based on the actual performance of an employee, and the base compensation here refers to monetary payments to employee in the form of the wages and salaries. It is a fixed non-incentive kind of payment calculated on the basis of the time spent by an employee on the job. Now, the objectives of the wage and salary administrations are first is to establish a fair and equitable remuneration, which I have discussed in the previous slide, that is the how we can maintain this particular the fair and equitable remuneration so that there can be the all the employees, they do not have feel any discriminations, and to attract the competent personnel is there. And here it becomes important, that is they are having these particular the competency mapping of these employees with the whatever the salaries they are getting. So, therefore, in that case those who are highly competent, they will have the principle of natural justice, and they will have the satisfaction, and they will continue in the within the organizations, is to retain the present employees, and therefore, in that case they will be thinking of how they can make this compensation which will be able to retain those employees at the workplace, and employees will not leave. To control the labor cost, now also we have to see the overhead cost and that has to be taken care of, and one side it should not be low, other side it should not create any problem of sustainability to the organization. And to improve the motivation and morale of the employees, these wage and salary administration should work. So, that because these wages and salary, and that decides about that is the how they will be able to create this type of the services which will be making them important for the performance is there. Now, they project a good image of the company. Overall, their requirement is there for the good image of the company is there. Now, different organizations will be having the different wages and salary administration, and these different wages and salary administration they will work on, that is the how they will be able to control the labor cost on the one way, and other side they will be able to attract the talent. And now there are many practices are there which are have been preferred by the organizations. Nowadays, when we are talking about the reduction of the cost, most of the organizations they have started wherever possible, that is about the work from home, and that becomes an example. So, that that is the you can have that particular support by the employees, because they are socially they are facing the less problems, and therefore their retention in the present employees it becomes higher. Similarly, whenever we are talking about the to control the labor cost, then in that case it becomes highly important, that is the employees and they are getting this the equilibrium, and therefore, that equity of the equilibrium that will be created. I would like to give the example here with the help of this particular diagram, and therefore, here we will talking about that is the how the equity has to be created in the fixation of the wages. So, here it will be the the job performance, that will be the low, medium and high expectations. Similarly, the salary will be the low, compensation will be low, medium and high. Now, when we talk about the principle of the equity, so it will be like this, and therefore, in that case that is the low performance expectations and the low salary will be there. So, here will be the equity of compensation. When we are talking about the regulation of wages, where these particular compensation and there the moderate performance is expected, and there will be the moderate salary will be there. So, equity will be this particular equity will be there. Similarly, when we are talking about the high performance and the high wages and compensation, then it will be the equity will be here. So, therefore, this will be the equity, but when there is a low performance and high wages, so therefore, it is the overpaid is there. So, we will say it is the overpaid is there. Similarly, the high performance and low is there. So, this is the underpaid is there, this employee is the underpaid is there. So, we have to take care that is in the compensation management, that is we are having this particular aspect, that is there should be the equity, neither they are the overpaid, neither they are the underpaid are there. Now, in the case of this state regulation of wages are concerned, and here we will talk about that is the how we are going to make this particular aspect, that is here we have to create this equity, and the government that helps us through the laws, that is how we can create that particular equity is there. So, here it will be very important, that is whenever we are talking about this aspect, then naturally we have to create here, that is whatever is procedures we are creating, and that particular procedure that has to be as per the rules and regulations of the wages. For example, in the fixation of wages, it is the employers are there. So, therefore, the rules and regulations will be there to guidelines the employer, that is there should not be any dispute related to these particular wages are there. If there is any dispute is there, then there will be the collective bargaining will be there, and therefore, in that case whenever we are talking about normally in once in a 3 years there will be the agreement, and that is about the collective bargaining agreement will be there. This will be under the legislation, that is the labor laws which are prevailing at that time. Then there will be the different wage boards will be there, which for the different nature of industries. So, for example, I have taken the example of textile industries. So, if the textile industry is there, then definitely in that case we will see that is the how we are going to take these particular aspects of the wage boards. So, they will decide about that is what is the right wage system for the textile industry. Similarly, the pay commissions are there and how they are making this particular pay commissions. So, in choices in designing a compensation system will be internal versus external pay, fixed versus variable pay, performance versus membership, below market versus above market, and open versus this secret pay is there. Normally the fixed pay versus variable pay is becoming very popular. Performance based versus the membership, it is not at the time of recruitment and selection, but at the time of the employees, internal employees, this will be very important. And the compensation that is followed by a firm should be in tune with its own unique character and the culture, and allow the firm to achieve its strategic objectives. A variety of choices confront a firm here. So, therefore, this is the wages and compensation that has to be decided accordingly. Now, I would like to refer this particular research paper, top management compensation and capital structure, general category of the star category of the Journal of Finance. This paper has been published and delves into the how the design and mix of a firm's external financial claims influence the optimal structure of the top management compensation. It asserts that managerial compensation strategies should address not just the agency conflict between the shareholders and the management, but also mitigate conflicts of interest arising from the other contractual relationship within the firm. The objectives of this paper are to analyze the impact of capital structure on management compensation, to investigate how the presence of equity, risky debt and convertible debt affects the structure of top management compensation. Minimum wages, agency cost, to design the managerial compensation schemes that align with the shareholders' interest while minimizing the agency cost associated with the debt financing, and derive the optimal compensation structures. So, to propose the optimal compensation structures under the different financial configurations of the firm, emphasizing equity and the debt considerations are there. The findings of this particular paper are the influence of the debt on compensation. The presence of the risky debt necessitates the compensation structures that are the less sensitive to performance to mitigate the restrictive behavior by management. In contrast, with convertible debt, an optimal compensation structure might closely align with the shareholder interest, showcasing high pay performance sensitivity. Optimal compensation strategies suggest that the pay performance sensitivity in managerial compensation is inversely related to the level of the firm's debt. This insight coincides with the empirical evidence of the negative correlation between management's equity stake and the firm leverage. Empirical consistency finding along with the observed trends in corporate America, including the low sensitivity of the CEO compensation to firm performance and its decline over the years, particularly as firm's capital structure have become more complex. So, finally, we can conclude that the research significantly contributes to the understanding of the corporate finance by highlighting the need to consider the broader implications of the capital structure, decisions on managerial incentives and overall firm governance is there. So, in this session we have talked about that is what are the different concepts and methods for this compensation management are there. So, you will be understand that you have to take the care of the nature of industries, the social factors, variable factors and also the legal aspect while deciding the compensation. Thank you.